Hey guys, happy Sunday, February 5th. As you can see, I am working with Alice in Wonderland lately. I don't know what the deal is with Alice in Wonderland, but it's been screaming at me lately. Even my son the other day, he was running late and he walks by my room and he's like, I'm late for a very important date. Crazy. Anyway, I've had this Alice in Wonderland Oracle for a while, so we'll be using that today. And I just got the new Alice in Wonderland Tarot. So I figured I would break it in with a little reading for us. So without further ado, I'm going to set this to the side over here. And we'll get going. So hope everyone's doing well. I know I keep Sundays for myself as my day of rest. I hope you all do the same. And if it can't be Sunday, then at least pick one day during the week that you can do that. It is amazing self-care to just give yourself that one day where you don't have to get out of bed if you don't want to. And just be, right? Just be. We have been talking about listening lately. At least that's been a theme for me. I don't know what that means to you guys, but I actually have just been trying to listen more and talk less, which is very difficult to do on a video, so can't really do that here. So I get to get my love of talking out here, if you will. So let's get started. So we're going to start with a current energy. Let's see what our current energy is today, guys. What is the current energy today? We have got the 8 of Teacups in the reverse. So again, like I said, I just got this deck, so the first thing that jumps out at me with these teacups is that they have these little gold, what looks to be like cracks, right? And if you think about like the teacups from Beauty and the Beast, it's the chip was the cup that was popular in that Disney show. I know I'm kind of stumbling over my words here, guys. I'm so sorry. The other story I was thinking of is there's a Japanese saying, tradition, whatever, maybe you've seen the meme on Facebook, where if a dish gets broken, they put it back together with gold in it. And that way it makes it more special than it was before it was broken. And I think 8 of Cups in the reverse is recognizing that those broken pieces are actually not broken, but they're more unique, for lack of a better way to say that. It's in our crumbling apart and putting ourselves back together, and we use those gold pieces, if you will, to cover up the cracks, right? Because those cracks are what let the light in. It's when we crack, it's when we're brought to our knees that the light then can come in, because it's at that point we give up, right? We surrender. We're just allowing whatever's going to be, because we just give up all that control, right? And 8s are, you know what? I don't even remember what 8s are in numerology off the top of my head right now. So we're going to actually look at the book just because it's a new deck. And sometimes the authors like to change it up a bit on me. So let's see what the author has to say about 8 of Cups reversed. Teacups represents indecision. Okay, well, I wasn't getting that from there, but let's see what else it has to say. A relationship in your life is at a tipping point, and you're not sure whether to walk away or keep trying to fix the bond. Okay, well, that would explain the bonds. Okay, fixing the bonds. Use your intuition and instincts to decide. If your mind is having trouble weighing out the benefits and pitfalls of this decision, your heart knows what to do. Well, that ties into my whole listening montage this morning, because when we talk, right, obviously we're not listening, but when you listen to your intuition, you can't listen with your ear. Well, you can kind of listen with your ears, but really you're listening with your heart. You're listening for that emotion, right? Your intuition will give you a feeling. It's our emotions that are our guidance scale. And I'm just noticing these wavy lines. So it's like a frequency, right? Like you'll feel the frequency of good, bad, or otherwise, right? Have you ever walked into a room and just all of a sudden you just felt off? Like You're just not sure, like the vibe is off, right? That's that emotion. That's listening with your heart. That's feeling the energy and not listening. Like it might be they're playing good music, everybody's having a good time, everybody's laughing and having and jumping around and dancing and whatnot, but you're still feeling a lower vibe, right? Because your ears are hearing good things, but your vibe is telling you, your heart and your emotions are telling you something different. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. It just means that it's not your frequency, right? Because as we raise our vibration, lower vibrations are going to they're going to feel off a bit, right? So that's the energy we're in. We're moving into a dimension or a mentality or a frequency, whatever word you want to use, whatever word resonates with you. You've leveled up, okay? And so you're going to have to be really aware of your intuition and your frequency and your vibes and your emotion, because the decisions you have coming up are going to require that. Okay, it's not going to be something that you can logically say pros and cons and make decisions with your mind, right? Spirit is saying you're going to need to make decisions with your heart. And that's not always an easy thing to do. So maybe practice with the smaller decisions that maybe aren't as significant in your life, and just, do your regular logic thing that you do, but then go back and revisit it from a heart perspective. If you actually put your hand on your heart and ask a question, your heart will answer you. There's a saying, I don't even remember where I read this, or heard this, but that your heart has its own kind of brain, its own mind, right? So when you get too much in your head, you're meant to put both your hands on your heart and close your eyes and go within and let your heart do the talking. So what this card is saying, we're going to need to let our hearts do the listening coming up. Okay, which is good, because that means, you know what that means, guys? You're leveling up. And then we've got the Two of Flowers in reverse. So I'm going to have to actually see what flowers mean, because I'm not sure with the pentacles, and I'm sure that's cups, which is our love energy, our water energy. Flowers, I'm going to guess, is earth. And I'm just noticing that, okay, before we look at little Miss Queen of Hearts over here, it's almost like a yin yang, if you think about it, right? Because you've got one going this way and one going this way. And I think I mentioned in one of my readings before that I always keep two arrowheads on my altar. One is pointing this way, and one always points this way. And that just directs the energy for me. It's the energy keeping it in flow, right? And I think what this card is saying is ground. Just ground, right? Keep that energy in flow. Be your high vibe self, but remember to ground yourself. There's still 3D stuff we got to take care of. We can't be all love, light, spirituality, Reiki, sound vibration therapies, and tarot all the time, right? There's bills that got to get paid. There's jobs that got to be attended to and whatnot. So I think that's what that's saying. But again, we will look up and see what the author was meant for us to hear with the Two of Flowers in reverse. Reverse Two Flowers indicates that you may not be acknowledging the full reality of a situation. You may be refusing to see things as they are, preferring to allow your optimism and idealism to outshine any red flags or warning signs. Stay optimistic, but also realistic. So yeah, it's kind of what I said, where, you can't be rose-colored glasses in your life all the time, right? Look at things, which is kind of counterintuitive to what this card says, right? This card's saying feel everything, be in that higher vibe sensation of feeling it. But this is saying to pay attention to the red flags too, right? So I think it's a balance of the two, right? And making sure that you're using your heart, using your emotions, using your intuition, but also, don't close your eyes completely to the grounded world, to the 3D world. If I think I heard on one of the videos that I watch on Med Circle is, I think she said with red flags. So if you're just starting to date someone, right, and you make arrangements to meet up at 6:00 and they don't show up till 7, the first time you kind of give them a pass, right? And you ask, what happened, whatever, they got stuck at work, blah, blah, blah. The second time you make arrangements to meet at 6 and they're late again, they come at 7, and you say, well, is there a problem? Should we start making these dates at 7 or whatever? And of course, this whole time, this person's not calling you to let you know that they'll be late. So the first time is a mistake. The second time you can forgive. And the third time is a pattern, is what they say. So if that happens a third time, then that's your red flag, right? It's kind of a pink flag at first, first couple times. And then it turns into a red flag when it becomes a pattern, when it becomes a habit. Then you realize that this person just has no, is not thoughtful at all about your time, about you sitting there for an hour doing nothing, right? And so you want to give them the opportunity to make it right or whatever, but then pay attention to those red flags, right? And you'll feel it too. I mean, you will feel it and you'll see it, and use all of your, I think what this is saying is use all of your senses, right? Every last one of them. God gave us 5 senses. Why are we only using 2? Just a thing, just saying. So that's too many. We're going to ask for some advice on the situation. And we have a few cards that fell, but only one that fell upward. So this is the 7 of Hedgehogs. I'll be honest with you guys. All right, flowers was earth, yeah, for sure. Cups, so I guess hedgehogs would be swords, maybe, or wands. I'm going to go with wands. I bet it's wands. The 7 of Wands would be, it looks like they're all sleeping, right? They're all just kind of minding their own business. But then you got the 2 down here that are like, what's going on? And then this guy is just different. Just different. I'm going to read from the book on that one. It's, I feel like they're spying on him somehow. I don't know. I don't know if that's meant to be a spying card or what, but I kind of get that vibe. Like it's, sleeping with one eye open energy. And maybe that's just to be on high alert or something. But 7 of Hedgehogs in the upright is shows that you're working hard on planning carefully to set yourself up for the future. Making decisions with long-term focus should be your goal now. Instant gratification is fleeting. Focus on creating solid foundation for future success. Working hard and planning carefully to set yourself up in the future. I don't know that these pictures speak that to me, guys. I really don't. All 5 of these hedgehogs are sleeping. You've got one that's a different color, and these 2 are just kind of looking at each other. I feel like that's self-reflection, right? That's just... You've gone through these phases, right? And in the center is green, which is your heart chakra, right? So these are maybe your 4 pillars, your 4 cornerstones, but you have the heart in the middle, and you have to pay attention to that heart. Your foundation and your stability in the grounded 3D world is fine. They're sleeping. There's no need for alarm there. And even your heart chakra is sleeping fine. No need for alarm there. But why are these 2 awake and looking at each other? Maybe one's planning and one's reacting. I mean, I feel like it's self-reflection here. Just looking at yourself as an observer and seeing what's happening, but trust your foundation, trust your heart chakra, trust, you don't need to look at those things. You feel those things and look at yourself and see how are you creating the situation? How are you contributing to the situation? What did this thing say? It was making decisions with long-term focus, okay? Look at the situation from an observer's perspective, but look at you. Don't look at the situation, right? And think about long-term. What is your goal? What do you want to do long-term? What's your end game? And pay attention to that and trust that you have the knowledge and the skills and the emotion and the love to do whatever it is you need to do. Right? But have that goal in mind when you're making these decisions. Can I get some more advice on this decision that's coming up? Can I get some more advice on what decision it is we have coming up? Can I get some more advice on whatever decision this is we have coming up on this long-term goal, if you will, in this new vibe that we are in? Can I get some more advice on what the decision... All right, they're new cards. They're kind of sticky, so let's see. Can I get some more advice on this decision? Get some advice on the decision. Can I get some advice on the decision? All right, one more, and if nothing, then we'll pull an oracle. Can I get some advice on this decision? Get some advice on the decision, please. Okay, well, Tarot's done talking to us. I don't know. That's a rare occasion for me. It doesn't usually fall that way. So let's get some advice on this decision. Oh, there we go. Nature communication, number 37 card. So, I'm going to read this. I'm just going to set this aside. Hang on one second. It's very purple, very crown chakra. And she looks very sad. Flower energies, fairy energies, elemental messengers. Actually, is she sad or is she just focused, concentrating? Right? What I'm noticing is the rainbow in her eyes. And I hear that song, I think it's the Rolling Stones. She's like a rainbow. And that's what she looks like to me. She is the rainbow, right? Communicate with nature. Pay attention to things around you, right? Flowers and fairies and elemental messengers. So it could be animals. It could be anything in nature. You know, you think about nature, a tree, a flower and whatnot. There's an entire root system that needs to be developed before the flower or the tree starts to sprout. So all of this underneath work is happening all the time. And we never see it, or we seldom see it. And even when we're doing it, you know, within, we're doing our own inner spiritual work or whatever, even we can't see the amount of growth that has happened underneath the surface because you can't see your head with your own eyes, right? And it's when those things start to sprout that we are able to appreciate the work that went into it. Let's see, but I do believe it means to pay attention to nature. You know, pay attention to your surroundings. Make sure that you are, you know, messages and signs are everywhere. And you just need to be open to seeing them. Oh, Tiger Lily, said Alice, addressing herself to one that was waving gracefully about in the wind. I wish you could talk. We can talk, said the Tiger Lily, when there's anybody worth talking to. Interesting. With this card, Alice thinks that because flowers are flowers, they cannot speak, reason, or communicate. They are not like her, and therefore she thinks she cannot ever understand or connect with her. Alice assumes the same applies in the opposite direction, but to her surprise, the flowers in the world, through the looking glass, can speak, and they are very critical, very picky, and very aware of their choices, while they are also making assumptions, thinking Alice to be a flower like them, yet unlike them, they reveal that most of the time they do not speak because they feel there simply isn't anybody worth talking to. And there's a bunch more that we'll kind of skip, but you know, guys, your pets and everything all around you, it speaks, but you have to be willing to listen, right? It's not about them coming to speak to you. It's about, they're always speaking. You just need to only listen. Okay, so listen more. And then we've got nonsense in reverse. So Queen of Hearts, I've been saying that all week. Queen of Hearts, off with their head. It's time to talk sense. Nonsense. 28 card. But it's in the reverse. I'm actually gonna read that. I think it's saying that she's pulling that Queen of Hearts off with their head's energy, right? But now it's time to go back and look at whatever it was that you just, you know, put the Kobayashi on. Go back and make sense of it, right? Don't just walk away, because you're going to leave a soul contract out there, right? And I think we talked about this last week, guys. You've got to tie up loose ends with people. And I think that's what this is saying, is it's time to, or you haven't been, but you need to tie up those loose ends. Let's see what I don't remember the author's name. Lucy. Let's see what Lucy Cavendish has to say about it. The Queen turned crimson with fury, and after glaring at her for a moment, like a wild beast, began screaming, "Off with her head!" Love that. "Off with nonsense," said Alice very loudly, and decidedly the Queen was silent. Interesting. So when it comes in the reverse, backing down at the moment of truth, running from a confrontation, allowing someone to intimidate you, and inability to find the courage within, fear of punishment, loss of voice, believing you cannot be brave without being aggressive. Okay, guys, well, I did ask for advice, so it might be that this is what is needed in your situation. Maybe you do have to be aggressive. Maybe you do have to back down and just submit and just say, you know, I'm going to agree to disagree and walk away. Run from the confrontations. You know, some confrontations, guys, you can't win. And the only way to win is to walk away. And I think that's what this is saying. The only way to win is to walk away. You know, maybe try the aggressive approach, try the off with their heads approach. But at the end of the day, there's situations you just have to walk away from. Okay. And then our last piece of advice here is never jam today. Promises that never come to be, empty words, not living in the now. Okay. I feel like these go together, guys. Absolutely go together. Actually, all three. Trust your instincts. Pay attention to, oh, you know what? Oh, I think I just got it. Okay, well, I'm going to talk it through after, but 35, never jam today. She looks cross, doesn't she? She does not look happy. She has got all of her sweets around her and getting ready to have a feast, I guess. But is she doing it or is she thinking about it? I don't know. Let's see. 35. Never jam today. Alice couldn't help laughing as she said, I don't want you to hire me and I don't care for jam. It's very good jam, said the Queen. Well, I don't want any today at any rate. You couldn't have it if you did want it. The Queen said, the rule is jam tomorrow and jam yesterday, but never jam today. Interesting. So when the White Queen makes her outrageous statement that jam is for tomorrow and for yesterday, but never for today, Alice realizes that no one ever gets to get any jam. When this card comes to you, what can it mean? Well, it is likely that someone is making promises that sound like there's plenty on offer, when in fact, it is extremely unlikely that they will ever deliver and come through with all the wonderful things they are attracting you with. You see, when this card comes, someone is claiming that they can do a lot of good for you. Whether they are offering a pay raise, a good time, a commitment, it's never to be. The promise is never to be delivered or enjoyed today. They exist on promises of a better future and the memories of a wonderful past, but they will never make good on their promises when it most counts. And that is today. Fortunately, Alice is not at all attracted by the offerings of the White Queen. She literally does not want the jam, so she cannot be manipulated. But those who do want the jam could be forever living in the hope that one day they'll get jam. The fact is, this will never happen. Listen to the person making you some rather wonderful promises and boasting about how much... Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why the video cut off. Anyway, listen to the person making you some rather wonderful promises or boasting about how much they can offer others. When will they deliver? Are they always talking about the past and planning for a wonderful future, but struggling in the present? If so, it is best to be like Alice and have no desire for promises which will never be fulfilled. Now, for divination on this, words are plentiful, but deeds are few. Thinking that the past and the future are better than the present. Being attracted by promises of good times and abundance that may never be kept. Boasting of plenty, but never enjoying it in the moment. Manipulation and withholding. Demand results in the present and work towards satisfying your desires yourself. Don't buy what they are selling. This has been a theme lately, guys. There's people out there that they're awful, right? And if we put all three of these together, I'm thinking like that typical narcissist, right? That future faking, that love bombing. That's what this guy is, right? He's always telling you how great things used to be and how great they're going to be again, but they're never really good right now, right? And if we stay present, if we pay attention to the now, the past doesn't exist and the future hasn't happened yet. It's what, make your decisions based on now, right? Is this person, family member, romantic partner, whatever, are they always telling you what they used to do? Are they always telling you what they're going to do? Are they making promises? Are they bragging about the past? Do they live in the present? Are they asking you to do or give or whatever now, and they'll, I'll get you back later? Well, there's friends in our lives, family members, whatnot, where that's the case. But if it's a pattern, if it's an ongoing thing, guys, then that's what you're dealing with, right? And if that's what you're dealing with, then it's off with their heads. It's walk away, It's time to talk sense, nonsense. That person is nonsense. It's time to get rid of them, off with their heads. There's no explanation. Pay attention to the nature of the situation, right? Pay attention to the way they treat animals. That's a thing. Pay attention to the way that they talk to their mother. Pay attention to the way they treat a waiter or waitress at a restaurant. All of these little things, if you pay attention to those, the way that they are naturally communicating with other people besides you, that will give you a clue. Use your heart. Pay attention to the red flags. Plan for the future. Know that however they're treating you right now is how they're going to treat you in the future. Period, end of story. They're not going to change. It is what it is, and accept it or move on. And you don't owe an explanation, right? Because people like this, they'll word salad you. They will constantly tell you that, well, you don't respect me, right? And the word respect, the definition of that word will change constantly. It'll never be anything tangible. It won't be like, well, you don't go to church with me on Sundays. Well, you know, that's a tangible thing. You can fix it. Everybody can see it. It's a fact, right? But when you're talking emotion, when you're talking a characteristic, that it's too subjective. You can't be objective with it, right? Respect to me means something different than respect to you. So you could tell me all day long, you don't respect me. And my first question to you is going to be, define respect. Because if you think respect means obey, you're right. I don't respect you, and I walk away. In my world, respect means honoring each other, allowing each other, appreciating each other, and growing together. That's respect. This obey bullshit, you can take that to the freaking, I don't even know where. But if you're going to define respect as obeying, then just by virtue of the fact that you think that, I've already off with your heads. Already doing that, right? The other thing these people do, everything is intangible, right? They're going to say, well, you said this. You can't prove you did or you didn't. It's called gaslighting, guys. If you feel like you need to record a conversation, if you feel like you need to send a text, chat, window, whatever, to a friend and say, am I being, what happened here? Am I doing something wrong? By virtue of the fact that you feel like you need to do that, you've already been gaslighted to the point that you can't trust yourself. And Spirit's telling you, trust yourself. Pay attention to the red flags. Look at the past. Look at the future. Plan for your future. Pay attention to that communication. Off with their heads, because if they're always making promises and never delivering, that's how it's always going to be. Okay? I'm going to leave it there, guys. I don't know why the video cut off. I had a very different speech the first time, but I guess this is the message that you guys needed to hear. So we'll leave it there. All right. We'll talk soon, guys. Much love and light.